Welcome back to the Born Blondes podcast. I'm Aubrey.
And I'm not muted. I thought I was. Hi, I'm Randa.
So,
welcome to a Murder Monday. Welcome to a Murder Monday.
dear.
Theme song.
I don't know where we're going with this, but we're going.
I like it. We are in California.
California.
California love. Tupac, bet you don't know. Anyway, who are we talking about today?
We are talking about Dana Sue Gray, who is an American. Dana Sue Gray? Dana Sue Gray?
There you go.
Sorry.
We'll get there.
We'll get there.
Who are we talking about?
Dana Sue Gray.
There you go.
Who is an American serial killer who murdered 3 elderly women between February 16th. Are you okay? Ew.
What in the fuck?
It's probably from the bowling ball.
It probably is. We went bowling today. Anyway. You probably should just read that over again.
Cool. She is an American serial killer who murdered 3 elderly women between February 16 and March 16 in 1994 to support her spending habit. She is serving a life sentence after attempting to rob and murder a 4th victim at the California Women's Prison.
We're off to a great start. Not grandma.
Not grandma.
Russell Armbrust worked as a hairdresser in California. Beverly Arnett was a former beauty queen who had been an MGM starlet. Russell, although married 3 times before, met Beverly and fell in love and later got married.
How cute.
What a romantic story. They suffered several miscarriages before finally getting pregnant and having Dana Sue Armbrust on December 6, 1957. Beverly was often described as an aggressive, vain woman, and when Russell found Beverly grappling with an older woman, he decided it was time for a divorce.
Okay.
Not grandma going head to head, or not
grandma going head to head with grandma.
Not mama going head to head with grandma. It takes one to know one.
Literally.
Mm-hmm.
Dana was at...
Yes, Dana was at 2.
Dana was at 2. Dana was 2 at the time of her parents' divorce. And... I think your child's awake.
Already?
Apparently. Dana was 2 at the time of her parents' divorce and rarely saw her father afterwards. She began acting out to get attention. Shocker. And when Beverly tried to discipline her, in return, Dana would steal money to buy candy or occasionally fly off the handle and get violent. She struggled in school and didn't get along well with the other students, often getting suspended from forging notes to get out of class. So we're off to a great start.
Not a very good upbringing already. Sounds very familiar to all of these serial killers. Am I too loud?
No, you were too quiet.
Oh. I feel like I usually am. I'm not a loud person in general. Anyway, Beverly developed breast cancer when Dana was 14 years old. After watching the hospital nurses treat her mother, Dana decided that she wanted to become a nurse. Beverly had passed away in 1975 when Dana was 17 years old, forcing Dana to move in with her father, but was later told to leave because Dana's stepmother discovered drugs in her room.
Well, all right. This is swimmingly.
Literally.
Dana graduated from Newport Harbor High School in 1976. For the next several years, Dana lived with Rob, her skydiving instructor, who helped Dana through nursing school and becoming an expert skydiver. Later, Dana got pregnant. Later, Rob got her pregnant twice.
Did I miss?
It says later, Dana got her pregnant twice.
Eh. You never know.
Both times, Rob convinced her to terminate the pregnancies, and she resented him for it.
Rightfully so.
Literally. She later suffered miscarriages, leading to depression.
Oh.
That's what's typed. Let me trans that. Translate.
Let me trans that. You know why it says that?
Probably because I said it and you typed it.
100%. There's another thing in here that I purposely typed because Aubrey said it.
Okay.
We'll have to find it.
She later suffered several miscarriages, leading to depression and psychotropic medications, altering her brain chemistry. Yes. She was later fired
Did
from
it just happen to you too? You
Yes.
good, bro?
Brett said thing. She was later fired from her nursing job when she was caught stealing drugs.
Okay, so I just want to comment here a second. I feel like it was not okay for Rob to force her to get abortions. It was abortions, right?
You'd terminate pregnancy, abortion,
Yeah. Because that fucks with people.
Yes, it
'Cause not
does.
only did
Especially
she-
back in 94.
100%. Not only did she have not the greatest upbringing, but also like she had that traumatic experience not once but a couple of times.
Right.
So like that's really going to fuck you up in the membrane. In 1981, she graduated from nursing school and for the next few years started on an on-off again relationship with windsurfer Chris Dodson. Dana also enjoyed windsurfing and became fairly good at it, so her and Chris would often take trips to Hawaii to participate in windsurfing.
I would also like to take trips to Hawaii.
What the fuck is windsurfing?
Have you ever seen those like surfboards with like the giant kites?
Surfboard. Surfboard.
I think that's windsurfing, but there's also ones where you like hold kites and like I don't know. I have no idea.
What is it
Here
when
is a
you're-
picture describing what windsurfing is.
You're welcome. What is the ones where you're on the back of the boat and you're hanging onto the thing and you're just-
Parasailing.
Okay. I thought parasailing was when you're like in like a chair thing and then you're just like controlling the things.
No, you're literally hold on. What were you talking about?
When you're on the back of the boat and you're like hanging on to like this like rope thing, but you have like a surfboard or something
There's
underneath you.
wakeboard, there's kneeboard. Otherwise,
Probably one of those.
Otherwise, there's wake surfing, which is different than windsurfing.
Clearly, there's a lot of options to do.
Yes.
Holy fuck. Okay.
Any hoozle.
Clearly, I'm missing out.
Not really.
I wouldn't be able to do it anyway.
That shit hurts when you hit the water.
Ooh, that part.
That part. A fellow sports enthusiast, Tom Gray, had admired Dana since high school.
Aww.
Married her in October of 1987 at a winery in Temecula.
Temecula.
I was going to say, or if you ask Granda.
Temecula.
Dana acquired a large amount of debt and shortly after her marriage to Tom. So their wedding essentially put them in huge amounts of debt that she couldn't pay back.
Which I feel like is very common because everyone
Yep.
feels that they have to have this extravagant, over-the-top fucking wedding, and you really don't need to. Just elope.
Literally.
Anywho, Dana got a job as a labor and delivery nurse in the Inland Valley Regional Medical Center. Tom and Dana lived in the gated community of Canyon Lake, where they started several several business ventures.
Bingo.
Wow, named Gray Matter. Dana left Tom in early 1993. Holy fuck, we're starting already, guys.
We're doing good. We're doing good.
We got this. And then she moved in with her friend and her lover, Jim Wilkins, and his son, Jason.
Okay.
Dana filed for divorce from Tom in June 1993, but it was not finalized until Dana had been in jail for quite some time.
Okay.
Okay. Although they were not living together, Dana and Tom filed for bankruptcy in September 1993 to save their house from foreclosure. The house's value had increased since they purchased it, but they had owed more than the house was worth. 2 months later, on November 24th, Dana was fired from the hospital for stealing Demerol and other opiates.
Shocker. And she was in labor and delivery, which is just as scary, if not scarier.
Facts.
Like
Big
she wasn't
facts.
just a nurse. She was in labor and delivery.
Literally.
High off drugs.
I would not want her being my nurse, that's for sure.
Facts. Fucking facts. Tom kept his phone number and address hidden from Dana, and on February 14th, 1994, Dana told Tom's parents that she wanted to meet up with him, which he originally agreed to, but didn't show up that day. Later that day, Dana murdered her first victim, who was an elderly lady who Dana had lived with for a while. Tom discovered a life insurance policy that Dana had taken out on him, and that would have paid off the house in the event of Tom's death.
So he got out while he could.
Literally.
Oh, great. Of course I get this one.
Yes.
Bear with us for a second. This paragraph becomes confusing and Aubrey
Very
might have
confusing.
to help.
Very confusing.
So Jerry Davis married Dana's father, Russell Armbrust, in 1988. Okay. Jerry Davis is the widow of Bill Davis, who died in the early 1980s. Okay. Bill Davis's mother is Norma Davis. We got that? We good?
We're good.
Okay. Norma Davis, at 86 years old, is thought to be Dana's first victim, even though she was never convicted of killing her because of the lack of evidence. Even though she remarried, Jerry Davis still continued to care for her elderly mother-in-law. Dana grew to know Norman. Listen, every time during research, and I would have to write Norma because we had to write Norma quite often in this research here, I would, for some reason, always type Norman, and I don't know why. So this is one of the Normans that I clearly haven't corrected, but Dana grew to know Norma very well during this time. On February 16th, 1994, Norma's neighbor Alice Williams found Norma after she had been dead for 2 days. That's a horrible sight. Norma was found with a utility knife in her neck and a and a fillet knife in her chest, with a bloody Afghan laying at her feet. Norma had a broken fingernail, but otherwise had no marks on her body.
Oh boy. Can I read the next two paragraphs?
Yeah.
Detectives also discovered there was no forced entry into the house, even though Norma always kept her doors locked unless she was expecting a visitor. Her neighbor Alice couldn't remember if Norma mentioned if she was expecting company or not, but detectives found a Social Security check made out to Norma for $148, as well as a Nike shoe print pointing towards the kitchen. A smear of blood was found on an armchair, as well as a phone cord ripped out of the wall.
I'm sorry, but $148.
You got to remember this is in 94.
You're not wrong. Hello.
All right, next paragraph. So sup, what a do, ho? Because that's,
I love me.
I love me.
That was me. I wrote that. 12 days after Norma was found, Dana killed 66-year-old June Roberts on February 28th, 1994.
Literally 12 days.
Yep.
Your cool down period was 12 fucking days.
Yep. And she's like, I need to get that next itch. I need some more money to fix my spending habits. Yep. June also lived in the same gated community as Norma. And on this day, Dana went to visit June to borrow a book about controlling a drinking problem. June let Dana into her house while she searched for her book, and Dana took this time to unplug the straight and curly cords from the phone. Dana then proceeded to strangle June with the curly cord until she died. Afterwards, Dana stole 2 credit cards and went on a massive shopping spree at a shopping center in Demicola. Demicola. Hello.
Okay. Rack up other people's credit card debt.
I don't understand. I mean, I like to spend money too, but I'm not going to kill people for it.
That part. Dana walked in.
Sorry.
Fuck up your own credit, damn it.
Literally. Gosh.
God, Dana.
Dana, you fat lord.
Dana walked into an antique store to buy a picture frame for a photo of her deceased mother on March 10, 1994.
How
Aw,
sentimental.
how sweet.
Did she use said money from the people she killed to buy a memorial photo of her mother?
I have no idea.
'Cause that's fucked up. That's
No
fucked
idea.
up.
57 or 58-year-old Dorinda Hawkins had been working alone that day when Dana attacked her with a telephone cord. Do we see an MO?
Do we see an MO?
Being that she was younger than Dana's other victims, Dana underestimated Dorinda's strength and Dorinda survived. During the attack, Dana stole $5 and a credit card from Dorinda's purse.
$5.
$5.
Okay.
And a credit card. And $20 from the cash register. Then went on a shopping spree an hour later. With $25? Whatever.
Remember, it's the 90s.
Right. But she also had a credit card, I guess.
Facts.
Whatever. Dorinda was able to give a description to detectives, and the story of the attack was published in the newspaper the next day.
Ay, ay, ay. 6 days later, on March 16th, Dana attacked and killed
6. So her cooldown period went from 12 to 6.
Yeah, so 2 weeks to not even a week. Dana attacked and killed 87-year-old Dora Beebe. Dora had just returned back home after a doctor's appointment, and shortly after, Dana pulled into her driveway. Dana knocked on the door, and when Dana knocked on the door, and when Dora answered, she asked for directions. Dora invited her inside while she looked for a map, and once Dana had gained access to the house, she killed Dora. Louis Dormond, Dora's boyfriend of 8 years, found Dora later that day, but Dora's credit card would be used by Dana an hour later to go on a shopping spree.
Shocker.
Could you imagine finding your significant other of 8 years dead in her home?
It is one of my greatest fears.
Isn't that like awful?
Yes. Many of Canyon Lake's residents were terrified at the news of the murders, and some even moved in with loved ones until the murders were solved. Elderly widows began meeting at designated houses to sleep in big groups, believing that there was strength in numbers. Some residents speculated that the murders were committed by a cult engaging in ritual sacrifice.
How wrong they were.
Literally.
Hello. Early on, detectives struggled finding possible suspects. At one point, they were struggling so bad that the supervisor recommended using a psychic. Before Dana was listed as a suspect, detectives believed Jerry Armbrust might have been involved in the killing of Norma Davis. If you remember, Jerry is Norma's daughter-in-law and now married to Dana's father.
Yes.
Yes, we remember. Jerry was still caring for Norma as she recovered from triple bypass surgery, and detectives suspected Jerry was in Norma's house the Sunday before the murder.
Yeah, boy.
Well, that suck.
Yes.
Being a suspect in murder of your mother-in-law, like that would be...
Right?
I mean, I guess it kind of like makes...
I mean, it makes sense, but
Yeah.
like it would still suck.
100, especially because she didn't do it. Like,
Right.
100% she did not do it.
Jerry told detectives she was only at Norma's house to drop off groceries, but heard the TV on upstairs and did not say hello, but left to go home. Detectives found it strange that Jerry was taking care of someone who was not a blood relative, and also thought it was strange that she did not say hello when dropping off groceries. Detectives also noted that Jerry was wearing Nike sneakers. Ooh. After weeks of talking to the lead investigator, Detective Joseph Greco, and Jerry built a friendship, and Greco shortly realized that Jerry was not the suspect they were looking for. The relationship and trust that they had built would be pivotal in solving the case.
Yep. Her wearing Nike shoes was just coincidental.
Yes.
Greco was assigned to Norma Davis's case in 1994, but this was only his second homicide investigation. Initially, he questioned his ability to adequately investigate because of his lack of experience, but eventually he solved the case. He figured out that it was the work of one female serial
killer.
I'm gonna try that again. He figured out that it was the work of one female killer because of the connection and evidence collected between Roberts and Davis's cases. Once he identified Dana Sue Gray as a potential suspect, a search warrant was written for her residence in Lake Elsinore, California. Probably pronouncing that wrong. My apologies. During the search, vital information was found belonging to June Roberts and also Dora Beebe. Detectives also found evidence of a surprise third victim, Dorinda Hawkins, the only woman to survive the attacks, who later identified Gray through a photo lineup. Sucks to suck.
Don't get caught.
Literally. Don't get caught.
I mean, don't murder.
I was like, did I hear that right?
No, I said don't murder. Murder is bad.
Do not do what these people be doing.
They did it wrong.
Aubrey.
Sorry.
It's not funny.
Murder bad.
Very bad. Where the hell was I? With all the strong circumstantial evidence against her and the possibility of the death penalty, Gray decided to plead to life without the possibility of parole and waived all her appellate rights, which means she cannot make any appeals, with one condition. The state cannot prosecute her for the murder of Norma Davis. I wonder why that one was so...
It's because Norma Davis was the one that
her.
she lived with. It was essentially would have been her grandma.
Yeah.
Kind of. In a weird roundabout way.
Right. Only because
it was Jerry. I was going to say it was Jerry's mother-in-law.
Right.
And Jerry was married to Norma's dad. Nope.
Right.
Jerry was married to Dana's dad.
Russell.
Yes.
Russell.
Detective Griss.
Detective Grizzle.
Detective Chris.
This is great. I'm so glad you got... This is a last name that is very...
Antoniadis.
We're just going to call Chris A. If it comes up again.
Was the lead detective for Dora Beebe's case. Chris interviewed Gray and after Detective Greco using different interrogation tactics. When Chris's original plan didn't work, he started using a more rough interrogation tactic, yelling at Gray to confess, which also didn't work. Detective Chris charged Gray with Dora's murder after the credit card was found in Gray's sock drawer during the execution of the warrant.
People are stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not saying that I'd be able to get away with murder because, one, I wouldn't be committing murder.
Facts.
But also, I feel like since you hear so much about these cases and like crime shows and documentaries and like this, and this, I feel like us people who are like normal have gathered enough information to be like, that's stupid. Don't hide said credit card in a fucking sock drawer.
Right.
Like, find a better hiding spot. Also, don't commit the fucking crime.
I mean, that part.
But also, if you're going to do it, do better.
Do better.
Which I guess is awful for me to say to begin with because these stories and whatnot.
I mean, there are a lot of unsolved cases out there.
Yeah.
And the solved cases are the ones where people were fucking stupid and slipped up.
And they always drop the ball. And it's like, and like the unsolved cases are the ones that are the ones that they, to me, I feel like put more effort in.
Yes.
And more time in.
Or the detectives sucked.
Yeah. So it's like.
Or dropped the ball.
Literally.
Or whatever. Kind of like our last case where they just dropped the ball.
Literally. But I digress. Dana had been spending so much money that June Roberts' credit card company called her family to alert them of the massive amounts of spending. When detectives went to the stores that the credit cards were used at, they interviewed the cashiers and got a physical description of Gray. You
Shocker.
are caught, lady. While Detective Greco was visiting Jerry, he described the killer to her, and the next J.
The next J.
Yeah, buddy. Just kidding. I don't do that. And the next day, Jerry told Greco she believed it to be her stepdaughter. So she believed the killer was her stepdaughter. After Dana had been using Dora Beebe's credit card, detectives had enough information to arrest her on March 17th, 1994, while she was cooking dinner for her family. That fucking sucks.
So does murdering people.
That's true. Also, Aubrey was like, should we like put this in? Like, do you think this is like critical? And I was like, I kind of think that it is, because it shows that like, even though she did all of these awful things to people, she's still
trying to act like a normal person.
Right. She's still a human being, and she still was a mother, and she still
hit it very well.
Well, did she though?
Well, she hit it well enough that her family didn't turn her in.
That's true. That's true. The family was not. Also, I don't even know how old these children are. You know what I mean?
Wasn't it her stepson or whatever, Jason?
Jason.
I don't know.
I don't know how old he was. It never said his age. Anyway, where the fuck am I? During questioning, Dana claims she never took the credit cards. And once detectives revealed they had evidence of her using them, Dana changed her story to saying she found June Roberts and Dora Beebe's cards.
Just magically found them.
Just found them. Ooh, and I'm going to go spend some money.
If you think about it, though, she's not completely lying. She did find them.
It was just after
she murdered them.
Right. This is the story that she stuck with for hours, and she claimed she kept the cards for her overwhelming need to shop. During questioning, Dana showed no sympathy for the victims. During a hearing on July 23rd, Deputy District Attorney Richard Bentley requested the death penalty. While Gray pleaded insanity on all accounts, after a witness testified to seeing Gray at June's house on the day of her death, Gray changed her plea of guilty for robbing and murdering. Gray changed her plea to guilty for robbery and
murdering. Stick 'em up. This is a robbery.
Could you imagine? Oh my, let me try this again. Gray changed her plea to guilty for
robbing.
I almost just said wobbing.
For wobbing.
For robbing and murdering two women with an attempted murder of another.
There you go.
I finally got it, motherfuckers. Since she pled guilty, Gray avoided the death penalty, but on October 16th, 1998.
There we go.
Gray was sentenced to life without the possibility of parole and is incarcerated at the California Women's Prison in Chowchilla.
It's crazy to me that which I understand, like it's
the end.
Only what? It's only 30 years ago. 31 years ago that this happened.
That is, well, I mean, I was born in 1994.
Right, but like it's crazy to me to think that this chick is still alive. Like, I don't think, have we ever covered one where the murderer is still alive? Like, I understand that we live in the same. Oh no, I think Corey was
Corey
still
Morris,
alive.
I think, was still alive, just in prison.
It's weird for me to think like
these people are actually.
We are currently like living in the same world. We are currently living in the same time. Like, it's crazy to me that we're both on Earth at the same time.
100%.
But like, obviously, I understand that not all murderers are from the 1900s. Like,
right.
I get that, but it's just it's weird to sit and genuinely like think about.
Right. Well, I was just gonna say, like, it's the same thing with like Ted Bundy and Jeffrey Dahmer.
Yeah.
Like those, like, yes, we weren't necessarily alive in those in like the 1970s, 1980s when it had taken place, but we were born in the 1990s, and then that's what we heard about growing up. So it's like, yes, it is weird that these things happen, but it's even weirder to still be in the same
And like I said,
universe.
I understand that there are murderers walking among us every day, but it's just when you sit and actually think about it, it's crazy.
It's kind of creepy too.
That too.
And it's even weirder because like you never know what is going on in someone's mental.
I was literally, you don't know what's going on with your next door neighbor. Like
Literally.
Nothing.
Like
you think you know somebody, but you don't.
You Just kidding. I'd help you hide the body. What? I am totally
anyway,
kidding.
on that note, it looks like it's time for us to go.
Thanks for joining us on this Murder Monday. You'll have to tell us your thoughts, opinions, or concerns down below. Also, if you have a recommendation or wanting us to do
suggestion.
That's the correct word.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a suggestion on who we should do next, also let us know. We would love to accommodate said things.
Yes.
Also,
we like to talk.
We do. I have opinions.
Same.
Although sometimes I always feel like I feel like I'm an open book, and if someone asks me a question, I'm gonna tell you blatantly and like honestly. But
Facts.
also I feel like because we're posting our opinions and stuff on the internet, I also feel like we have to be somewhat reserved.
Yes.
Because everyone has opinions and
everybody's got beef with somebody.
Literally. And I could say something and people would be like, oh, you're canceled. Like, first of all, we're not that huge.
We got to be big in order to get canceled. So
it is what it is. I will say what I say. If you don't like it, that's fine. We can agree to disagree.
Facts.
I'm not hurting you.
I understand that I'm not everybody's cup of tea, but I'm my cup of tea and I'm Randa's cup of tea. So we're going to be here
in our
sipping tea.
Pinkies up for fanciness. Anyway, we do appreciate everyone who tunes in, either if it's on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or YouTube, or any other platform. We appreciate you all. Thank you so much. We love you. And we will see you next week. Bye.